9 to noon, ready to go. I'm just finishing a text, boys. Excuse me here. Question. Etiquette question. Kuhn, good morning. Butchie, good morning. Armin, Beard looks great, even though the boys are down now 3-2 in the series. Question. Forget, Armin, you're out of it because you're on Android. Josh, you're in on this because you are a blue bubble guy.
Oh, wow. Look at me.
When you're on a group text and you exit the conversation, it notifies the group, apparently.
Yes.
Oh, you didn't know that?
You didn't know that.
Did not know that.
Oh, yeah. It says this person left the group.
Big slap in everybody's face.
Yeah.
But I can add you right back you can add you right back.
Just do a new one.
Well,
you need
to here's the etiquette. Here's the etiquette question. Do you need to explain to your friends why you have left the group text?
No, in my text, it doesn't matter. You just get added right back in.
It's a great question.
You
This is a
hate it?
great
Oh,
question.
really? Well, silence
They
it.
add you back in. See,
Yeah.
that's what I'm wondering about because at one point with these Goombas, I'm like, I thought I left this conversation. Why am I back in?
Who is this group that you
Not
tried to
ours.
ghost?
Not our group.
Mostly Big Mike.
Because he can't
Gator,
ghost our
bunch-
group because with you having a droid, you can't exit the conversation.
See, I'm the keys. There's levels to this, John. So Big Mike
Right.
and then what?
Big Mike Gitter, a bunch
Gitter.
of other Wisconsin golf guys, and a smattering of other golf-related guys through the group. The
Gotta
reason
be a fun text
and
group.
Oh,
it is a fun text group, but here's the thing: it's like 13 people strong.
Ooh.
It's quite active. It spans, boys, a wide variety of topics.
That's
Some
a
of
good
which
text
I-
group.
I actually love that. I actually
That's
do.
the best text group.
I do. I love that. You can make a book out of. I always told my buddies on my. I have two big text groups. One for my high school friends. One's for my college
Mhm.
buddies. They're like 11 strong. I'm like, we should make a book out of this one day. Publish it.
so many people would buy that.
Yeah, just for ourselves. I don't mean I'm not that narcissist. I think people care about what we say, but like this is our whole history, our memories, our togetherness, our story together, our pathology. Yeah. See, I knew I was gonna get that.
That's lame.
Okay.
It's like you guys
So-
texting last night. Did I respond at all?
One time.
You did not.
One
Yeah,
time.
one
We'll
text.
get-
Should we just
We'll
start
get
a
to
new
that.
text without Butch? I mean, that would make all
No.
the sense in the
No,
world.
because the fact that Butch is like the Greek chorus in our text group. He's always there watching, but I know he's never responding. So I need him in there.
Interesting term. I've never heard of that. The Greek chorus.
Isn't that,
Explain.
it's like a term from plays and movies, right? Where that he was like the Greek chorus was the voice in a play that was like the overseer that would explain what
okay.
was happening. Or I don't think
Sort
I
of
use
the
the term.
pseudo narrator.
Frankly, I don't think I use the term right, but
Yeah, that would check.
it's
So-
true, I guess.
So do I need to tell the group here's why I ducked out? Or
No, because I don't think there's anything that you could tell them to where they go, that's fair, man. You know, like we totally get it and we'll miss you. Like they're your boys. They're gonna give you crap
Well-
no matter what. So you say something or nothing, either way, they're either gonna add you back or they're gonna just give you a bunch of crap about it forever.
The honest reason, Kuhn, is that I cannot resist from feeding this text thread, and I cannot resist from checking it and having it interrupt my focus all day. It's bad for me. I love all the guys, but it's a
just
bad
silence it
thing.
and check
Right.
it when you have time.
Yeah, you can silence it during the show or during the.
To be honest with you, that's what I had to do. That's what I did with the 5 wide chat yesterday.
Last night,
Yeah, and then I checked it and there were 23 messages, and then I scrolled back up and I looked at them all and I read it all down.
That's why you didn't respond.
Nearly
Well, we were
every
having
group
fun.
text I have is silenced except for the one that has my mom and my wife on it. That's the only one that isn't silenced.
That's an important
me
one.
and Armin and Kuhn were having a grand time. I was bitching up a storm about the Heat getting all the calls
You were
last night.
pissed.
They were,
That
though.
was. Oh, really? You think so? I
You
felt
thought
like
they
I
were
felt like there's a
getting all
lot
the
of
calls?
contact. They got a lot. What they got, Butchie, was
Walk that
they
back
got
quick.
every light contact, and the Nuggets got very few contact calls. And that is what I call the turning of the water spigot off by referees in games sometimes, where it's not the calls that pile up in favor of one team, it's the drying up of the calls that makes a team run tighter, not execute their offense as well because they're assuming, well, I got banged right there. No call. So they get gun shy of going inside to their honey hole spots to shoot. Yeah.
No, when you're 100% correct. I mean, you could see that with Denver's offense, and then you knew that Miami was going to get calls because they only got one free throw the last game. but it was dramatic. And then the goaltend was just horrendous. Like, I mean,
That was a
just,
terrible call.
that was just horrendous.
How do you
Like,
miss that?
You can't miss that. Like, it was
How
horrendous.
they missed Jimmy Butler's foot being on the baseline. There's
Well-
3 refs. One ref's sole responsibility is all that baseline action.
But at least everybody's looking at the ball, don't you think? In that situation with the ball and the goaltend, I could see if someone's not looking down right over
Well-
the foot. Okay.
Butler had the ball when he was stepping on the end line.
Okay, it's a bad call too. I'm not excusing it. I just couldn't believe the goaltend. It was
That sounds
so.
like you are.
That said, Kuhn, and I think you were more on this
There
square.
we go.
Kuhn, that said, you were more on this square. The Heat played their asses off.
They
Didn't they?
fought. They fought. They
quarter.
battled. I mean, they did exactly what they did in the Buck series.
Yeah.
They did exactly
Mhm.
what they did in the Celtics series. They get themselves in a spot where they can just barely see the target at the end of their scope, and they go, "It's fourth quarter. It's time to pull that trigger." Bang, 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 and they went and they did it. And they shot a lot
Yeah.
better from 3 this game than in game 1. What were they game 1, Butchie? 33%. What were they this game? Nearly 60%,
50.
50%.
Yeah.
Yeah, much better. 48% to be exact. Is that what it
Well,
was? Something like that.
I'll look it up right now. Yeah, I think it was a lot better though. You're right, John. The question then becomes, can they do it again? We've been saying this for 2 months. Can the Heat shoot like that again? Well, it's time to stop doubting them. Maybe one person on this this chat though, on this 5 wide, said they
Can I
could have
ask
won
a
a
question?
game. Is that Josh? Maybe?
Can I ask a question, Steve? to
Yeah,
Butchie?
Josh chimed in only at the end to
Hmm.
go, see who told you this. And my
Congratulations,
response,
Josh.
Kuhn, was,
No.
I'm like, way to go. I'm like, welcome to the string. Game's over.
Yeah, bye. Way to jump in when it's too
Josh
late.
literally
48%.
dropped in
Classic
Once the
drop
game
out
was
of Josh.
over-
Too late.
to ask for validation. I called him.
Oh,
I'm
no
like,
validation
well,
needed.
None.
None-
There
none
was no
needed.
validation.
48% from 3, by the way. Go ahead.
See,
John.
Josh, either be in the pool splashing around, playing with us while it's going on, or just stay out of it entirely. Pick one.
Oh, is that okay? Is that what you want?
Yeah, I want everyone in the pool.
What do you mean that
But you
one?
get in the pool for God's sake.
All right.
What's
I was
wrong
in the
with
pool.
you? It's the NBA
just saying.
Finals. You harangue us to watch more basketball during football season, which, Kuhn, we're not going to do. But
Never
it's the NBA Finals. I expect you to be available via
I wanna-
text.
I want to go back to the
I
calls. though,
told
'cause
you it
I'm
was Blake's
surprised.
party. I was cleaning up. I'm doing everything. I'm watching the
Don't
game. We're doing all
care.
this stuff. I ain't
Keep
got
your
time
phone
to text.
handy. Respond.
No,
Oh, there you have it. What about that argument?
I don't respond normally.
It's true. It's
Kuhn,
true, you don't.
should Butchie be available to us during NBA Finals games? Yes or no?
Which he's got a schedule, man, and he's got to roll with his schedule. I want to ask Butchie this question though, because I found it interesting that Butchie said the calls were lopsided. Because I was always told that in basketball, the more aggressor team gets the benefit of the calls. The more aggressor team gets the lighter touches, the more aggressor team doesn't get called for little more physical touches on defense. I that's what I was always told. Was I told wrong that the more aggressor team, the bigger aggressor, that team is the one that gets the benefit of the calls?
Yeah, except for in a situation like last night. I thought Miami did attack more. However, John, there was the narrative that was out there, got to the free throw line one time that I truly believe affected the way the whistle was.
Can
blown. I
both
do.
be true? Can both be true? Can they be more aggressive last night so they got the foul calls? And then in hindsight, we can write the story. They only got one free throw in the first game, and that's why these all came in the second game. I mean, they were not this aggressive. They were not near this aggressive in this game in game 1. You have to admit that. They were
Mhm.
not near this aggressive. So maybe their change influenced the officials to make the calls this way.
To a certain extent, I also think Zave's point of, like Denver was attacking. I mean, when you look at Jokic and what like the fouls that he should have gotten versus what he did get, like, and the guy gets just pounded and no calls. And I think that
Yeah.
it's the same argument that we have
With
with
Giannis,
right?
with
It's
Giannis.
the same. It's very
Tons
very
of
true.
similarities.
And I think a lot of it's because of the European style of basketball. Like in Europe, basketball is more physical than America.
He
No
initiates
question about it.
contact.
There was
too.
another thing I was
Mhm.
always told as it pertained to basketball and fouls is that the bigger guy doesn't hardly get the ticky-tack calls the way a guard would get the ticky-tack calls, Butch.
Yeah, and that's really true in today's NBA. It really is because
I would
the
agree.
way the game's officiated, like there's no hand check, there's freedom of movement. Like I say it a lot, but like that is a big part of the way that the game is called right now because that's what the NBA wants. They want a free-flowing game to entertain more people like Zabe and that's not going to watch them in the NFL. But when they come around, hey, then they're entertained.
It's like the priest pulling out his best sermon at like Christmas mass.
Easter.
Christmas or Easter.
Because it's like, hey, we haven't been this full since Easter, so here we go. We're going to give them the good stuff today.
The funny thing is that the fouls were generally even. The Nuggets shot 2 more free throws. It was 22-21. It's just our perception, I guess, of it. It wasn't really lopsided.
Well, it's a type. It's the type of fouls.
Yeah, and that's what it is. It's our perception of what we saw on the court, type of fouls, whatever. Jokic does initiate a lot of contact too. I mean, he comes down the lane, elbows high, hands high, and drives his body into people, which is his right to do it.
The way it's taught.
The way it's taught.
You should.
I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying it's tough to officiate, guys. Just like Giannis. So it was hard for me to sit there and say, I think they're getting all
that's
these
funny
calls.
from you, a guy that says, no, these are the rules. You are the biggest. These are the rules.
I never
These are
said I
rules
wasn't.
guy.
I said it
You
last
are.
night because Dave was complaining about all the fouls. I said the rules are the rules. Call a foul is a foul. You have to call it. The minute you stop calling your rule book, the minute your game devolves into just trench warfare.
So you want the belt high strike in baseball because according to the rules, that's a strike.
I'd like the strike zone to be closer to what
They
they
don't call that.
initiated. When I grew up, it was letters. Now that was maybe for kids in little league. That was because they were smaller. But
And the umpires were parolees, but yeah, it was letters.
if
It
you
was
want to
nipples
change
down to your knees.
if you want to change the rule book, Zabe, get the competition committee together in the summer, make your rule changes, and then enforce them. I don't know why
Listen,
we do this.
Rules are different than calls, and I'm always a believer that calls should be holistic. They should be reflective of the moment, the time, circumstance, balance, style of play, and everything.
Well, I don't like that because
You
it's a
can't-
moving goalpost. It's a subjective
Well-
standard. I like objective standards so we can play by the same set of rules. I'm just
Well,
giving
part
you
of
my
it
opinion.
is if you
Well, half
if
the
you
rules are
call
gray,
NBA
Armin. Half the rules are gray.
And that's what
in
makes it
sports.
difficult.
Half
Yeah.
the rules
Judgment.
are gray.
I admit
and,
that.
and if you look at fouls last night, what'd you say free throws were 22-21?
It was 22-20. It was yes. The
Sounds-
Nuggets got
sounds
22, and then
Ultimately pretty damn fair. I can't
Mhm.
imagine one team was fouling a whole lot more than the other, and then all of a sudden it just broke down to even. Maybe
But
I
It's
didn't
just
see it.
the
when
timing-
it happened, though.
yeah, the timing of when those calls come,
Mhm.
plus the nature of it, like the Nuggets got back-to-back illegal screen and an offensive charge call go against them in back-to-back possessions at home, Butchie. Those are the kind of momentum slayers right there. I'm like, Jesus, who's the home team here? And the fans were going nuts as well. There's a couple of tap
course.
out balls that Jokic complained about, saying, look at it. Now he was wrong on one of them on review. Some of the fouls were wrong looking at it. It just felt that way. But
they have
anyway.
they have an issue with the goaltend call, no doubt about it. That was an obvious one to me.
Well, and it was so obvious. Anytime you have a player arches back and his arm reaches back like that, it's goaltending 100% of the time.
It's weird.
It was just
How about anytime you get a block that is more than 2 feet out of the shooter's hands, it's probably a goaltend.
Yeah,
These
I would
late
say.
blocks are almost always goaltend.
It's just weird because that's an instinct. If you're an official in the NBA Finals, you've ref hundreds of thousands of games, possibly, right? Maybe not hundreds of thousands, but thousands of games. How is that? If you watch hundreds, how is that not an instinct to call that? That's what I just don't get.
Because I think the game moves so fast. I think, Armin, if you and I were to stand there and be a third ref and just watch the game and try to figure out what's going on up close, it would melt our brains.
And I agree with
Butchie, how
that.
quick
And a tenth of a
and
second
athletic.
earlier, and he hit it at its pinnacle, and it's a clean block. Tenth of a second.
Right.
That's the
But
difference.
for me, it's about the mechanics, right? You're right, John. Like it is a tenth of a second, but it's the mechanics of the block. And these officials normally do a very, very good job. I mean, they have classes about
I know
all of that.
Yeah, they do.
Like this was blatant. Like this was one that is talked about all the time in those official meetings. If you see this, it is goaltending. And for them not to call that in this stage, I thought was a big miss by them.
Everything gets later now. I think in the back of their mind, they think replay's there. I'm going to let everything play out. If I miss a call, replay will always catch it. So we might as well let it play out.
Yeah.
I think that's an instinct, but I don't, but the truth is we also have more ability to dissect and to be critical of our critical eye of the, like Jake O'Donnell, Mike Mathis, Ed Rush, all those guys in the 90s, they didn't have the replays.
Eddie F. Rush or Eddie T. Rush?
Ed T. Rush, Eddie Rush. Yeah, there's 2 Ed Rushes. How about
That's
that?
how you know you're an OG. If you knew that there's 2 Eddie
Yeah.
Rushes who were referees in the NBA back in the day. Armin, have you ever sat on the baseline front row for an NBA game?
Yeah, there
'Cause
were.
I did
Old Bradley Center media seats were there sometimes. Yeah.
I did once, like right on the baseline.
It's getting
I'm telling you.
crazy quick.
Coon, it's you probably have sat there. You're Mr. Big Celebrity, but you're not wrong in saying when you sit that close to these guys, the game moves at lightning pace. They're monsters and they're so skilled, all of them. Right?
So it's it's so funny though, because for me, the game went super fast, but the greats, it goes slower. Like you can see
in
them
their
slow
mind
it
it
down.
does.
No, in their mind, but you can see, like, I go
Right.
back to a time we played when I was in training camp with Utah. We played LA, the Lakers. In LA, it was a 2-game series. We played them somewhere else, and we played them at Staples for this training camp. And this was preseason. Kobe was on the floor, very short minutes. And Damari Carroll, who's an assistant or was an assistant from Milwaukee, took the ball from Kobe. And instantly, Kobe went into just a different mode. And this was preseason. And everyone else is scrambling around. And Kobe just slowed down the game for himself and then just went killer mode for about 2 minutes and said, all right, take me out. Like, I'm good. I proved it to you.
Right.
Shut your mouth. Like, but it was
Right.
crazy because, like, for everybody else, yes, the game's super fast, but not just in their mind. Like, Kobe slowed the game down with his body, which was one of the very few times that I've ever seen a player slow down the game to make himself better and take over a spot. It was crazy.
Wow.
Yeah. Coon, it's my dream to see NFL football on the sideline like you do every game for the Packers. Of course, you played in the league, so it's no surprise to you. But I bet NFL football right in front of your face from steps away must be insane.
It doesn't change for me as it would for you. You'd see it and it would look insane. It looks insane to me now. I remember there were times while I was a player and I would be on the sideline. Let's say a couple seasons, I got some hamstring injuries. I had to miss a game or two, and I'm standing on the sideline with my hamstring injury, and I haven't really run in like a week or two. So, and I was not fast before hamstring injuries. And I would think to myself regularly on the sideline, man, these guys are running so fast and they're hitting so hard. What are they doing out there? This game looks so physical. But when you get out there, you're trained and you practice so much that it's reaction to things without even – you don't see process react. You are reacting kind of in a fluid motion with everything that's going on around you all at the same time. So it's a whole different vibe. Butchie talks about, being able to slow the game down. I don't know if I ever slowed the game down, but there were definitely plays that I finished that I watch on film and I'd say, I don't know how I did that because I don't remember seeing to make that move, to make that cut, to put my hands on that guy like that. So there are just reactions that you have out there that your body naturally goes with through practice and repetition. I mean, that's what Kobe does. That's what Kobe did, Butch. All those moves, all those things that he had set up, he knew where his spot was. He knew exactly what steps to take, exactly how many dribbles, when to cross over. He knew it was second nature to him. It was like walking.
Yeah.
3 plays last night got me out of my chair watching the game for Denver. One was the touch pass from Jokic to who was it with the reverse lay-in?
Aaron Gordon.
Was it Gordon?
Yeah, Gordon.
Gordon Butch. Yeah.
So the touch pass, I was like, oh man, place went nuts. The second one was Christian Braun, who looks like he was out of Hoosiers,
Kansas guy.
tight pants, and he's got the clean crew cut white kid. He's like, hop, 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 hop. He got 6 minutes of run, and he goes in for a monster dunk, which is great. And then most importantly was Jamal Murray on the dead fast break, going in for a dunk, getting fouled. Less than a year or about a year back from his ACL injury, fearless. That's sports right there, Coon.
How about Duncan Robinson scoring 8 straight points in the fourth quarter? One being off the dribble where he took Jamal Murray all the way to the rim and then flexed afterwards. If you have Duncan Robinson flexing on you after he takes you off the dribble, you're in a world of trouble.
Listen, this
That's
guy,
why
but it came out of nowhere.
Respect Robinson's name, Kuhn.
I am.
World of trouble. I mean, come on.
I am. I just gave him all the respect in the world. Drop some threes, my man. Drop some threes. But that explosive move to the rim and then the flex. Yeah, they were in trouble.
Remember, this guy until this playoffs was basically unplayable for a couple of years in this league since the bubble. Excuse me. The emergence of him has been crazy. And put respect on his name, but you're right. He's playing well right now. I mean, there's no doubt about it.
What What blows me away, boys, is just athletes, alpha athletes, apex predators like Jamal Murray. Their knee has been blown up. They're finally back after an arduous year of therapy. We didn't even see all the rehab and other bull crap. He gets a breakaway and says, Leroy Jenkins, I'm going in. Goes in, throws
Yeah,
it
it
down,
must be
fearless.
nice to do
He
that.
could have landed on his freaking head
Well,
on that play.
The ones that
Right?
are the greats in their profession just have that instinct to do it. It's like us with Josh not producing. It's no different.
Yeah, it's exactly.
You know,
Herman's just
Fearless
pushing buttons. He
producing.
doesn't even see which buttons he's pushing. I'm
Right.
Just pushing, scroll, push, scroll. Move, knob,
No, that
move,
was
knob.
Shea who would push all the buttons and things would get screwed up.
oh,
He's
poor,
just-
come on, Shay. Poor
We
Shay.
love him though.
I love
Sorry,
Shay.
Poor Shea.
How's Ohio
Did
State
All
do?
right, tag, you're
Did
it.
you?
I did. Shay's a great dude. I liked him.
I'm talking to Steve.
Oh,
Yeah, we both were talking to Zave.
oh,
there,
I'm
yeah.
sorry. I'm sorry.
About did I like Shea?
I think you liked him.
Hey,
As
look
a
at the
person,
time.
yeah.
Hey, look at this.
He was not fit to be behind the wheel of a ship. I mean, it's
Well,
all right.
Maybe not this
everyone
ship.
is.
Maybe not your ship.
Well, okay.
We shouldn't do this. I don't know.
No, it's
I like
especially
Look
since
at
like we're almost out of buzzes.
This is a very interesting ship.
all right, we
Steve's
gotta go.
4.5
Tag, you're it.
minutes
Nine
on.
to
And it
noon
sails
is
at a
next.
45-degree angle.
All right, boys. See you tomorrow.